No DQ Galaxy, we are live with a recap of Monday Night Raw for December 18th, 2023, the final live Raw of the year. Next week's Raw will be a best of edition. This week's Raw was noteworthy. We had some title matches, and also WWE was setting up the big day one edition of Monday Night Raw, which is in 2 weeks. That will be January 1st, 2024. But for now, we wrapped up 2023 with a solid show. And let's get to it. We kicked off Raw with the Judgment Day coming to the ring for a promo to hype up their matches. They hyped up the tag team title match, Judgment Day versus the Creeds, which was the main event of Raw. Rhea Ripley said they ran 2023 and they were going to continue running WWE in the new year. R-Truth came down to the ring. He said that last week when he got beat down, that was all part of the initiation. He said he was hurt physically and emotionally from that beatdown. JD McDonagh was not amused with R-Truth, warned him to leave the ring. Truth got in JD's face and wanted to fight him in a Miracle on 34th Street fight. Now, JD had to point out that the match was already booked. R-Truth then suggested that it be a loser leaves Judgment Day match, and Priest thought it was a good idea. So we had the match, Miracle on 34th Street fight, stipulation, the loser must leave Judgment Day. Now, R-Truth, of course, not in Judgment Day, but he thinks he is. And I'm very entertained with this stuff. R-Truth is so good that he can blend in with a serious faction, add some comedy to it, and still keep Judgment Day as a credible group. R-Truth is just wonderful. Loving him. Glad he's back here. So we had this match, and it's your typical Christmas-themed match. It's goofy, it's over the top, but it's fun. You had the candy cane kendo stick. You had food at ringside. R-Truth actually brought a table out from under the ring, which of course gets the big pops. Dominic stayed outside at ringside during this match while the rest of Judgment Day left. Dominic was interfering. He ended up shoving R-Truth into the ring post at one point and then later tripped him. But as he tripped R-Truth, R-Truth fell face first onto JD's crotch. Plan backfired. So then R-Truth got the upper hand. He threw Dominic into a Christmas tree at ringside, used the fire extinguisher, and then paid tribute to his childhood hero, John Cena, with the 5-knuckle shuffle. Truth hit JD with a tree, and then both of them were on top, and they both fell through the table. R-Truth, however, was on top. He got the 1-2-3 victory, and apparently that's it for JD McDonagh in Judgment Day. More on that in a few moments. Fun match. Entertaining, pretty much what you would expect, but I'm all for doing these once a year. We had Nia Jax come into the ring, and then Becky Lynch showed up. Nia left the ring, and we had some more back and forth between these two, basically hyping up their day one match in 2 weeks. Becky Lynch wanted to fight right there, but Nia said no. She's going to do it on her time and her terms, and she made the match official for 2 weeks in her hometown of San Diego, California. And they kept talking about the punch from 5 years ago, how Becky Lynch is WWE's moneymaker. And Nia said that whenever they fight, WWE is going to lose a lot of money. And Becky said Nia's only claim to fame is the nose break. And then Nia said that when she gets through with Becky Lynch, Becky's daughter is going to ask, why is Becky even uglier than usual? And that's when Becky attacked Nia Jax, but then officials ran down and Nia Jax took a cheap shot, punched Becky Lynch right in the face. I do think it was a good angle. I did enjoy it, even though I don't really care that much about Nia Jax these days, but they did do a solid job in setting up the match. And by the way, Nia Jax is in the Royal Rumble, which, I mean, she ain't winning it, but she'll have a good showing. We have a couple of super chats here, so I'll get to those. Shout out to D. Martin 5th. Who knew that Christmas decorations make great weapons? Very true. They should be used more often, just as a little surprise. Like in a random hardcore match, somebody pulls out a Christmas tree from under the ring, and everybody's like, what? Where did that come from? Why not? And the presents, those are always effective weapons. Yeah, they can hurt. Remember Home Alone when Marv was stepping on the ornaments with his bare feet? Yeah, maybe we can get that in AEW, since they will really go hardcore. In AEW, we can have somebody take an ornament and smash it over somebody's head and somebody's busted open. Maybe John Moxley or something. There's an idea for AEW. Take the Christmas themed match to a whole new level and start smashing ornaments over people's heads. There you go. Shout out to Shanti is cooler than you with a $2 super chat. Says, aloha from Hawaii. Happy to hear these recaps. I appreciate it, Shanti, and start trading me better Monopoly Go cards. Thanks. Moving on here, we had footage of Kofi Kingston before Raw coming out in front of the crowd as Kofi Claus, and then we had a current backstage segment of Kofi meeting up with DIY, and he wanted to know what they want for Christmas, and they said they want a tag team opportunity, and instead Kofi gave them a Yeet t-shirt, Jey Uso. Then we had The Miz talking to DIY. They gave him some props, and then Miz was interviewed about Gunther getting his last opportunity at the IC title as long as Gunther is champion. And Miz said that Gunther's foundation has been cracked, and he's going to finish the job and become a, whatever it is, 9-time IC champion. Interstate Kyle, when are we going to see you play the saxophone? First quarter 2024. Got to get my mom to ship the saxophone first, and she's running late. She hasn't even shipped Christmas cards, and basically I told her you're essentially shipping New Year's cards because they ain't going to arrive in time at this point. So yeah, she's way behind, but I hope to have that saxophone sometime within the first month or so of the new year. We had Miz versus Gunther for the Intercontinental Championship. Hell of a match here. I mean, really good back and forth action. Miz was putting on some submissions and Gunther would take control. Gunther was chopping the hell out of Miz. Miz's chest had tons of marks and bruises. Miz got powerbombed on the apron, but he kept fighting and the crowd was into it. They were chanting, "Let's go, Miz." And Gunther missed a chop on the outside of the ring and chopped the ring post. And this really gave Miz an opportunity. He started building up some momentum. But then Gunther caught him with a missile drop kick, powerbombed Miz. Miz kicked out. And then Gunther put on a Boston Crab. Miz was able to get to the rope. Gunther's hand was hurting, and Miz took advantage, hit the skull-crushing finale, but Gunther kicked out. Crowd was chanting, "This is awesome." They both ended up on the second rope, and Miz gave him an avalanche skull-crushing finale, but could not make the cover. Gunther was able to roll to the outside, and then Gunther regained the upper hand, got Miz back in the ring, and finished him off with a second clothesline, or a second power bomb, a clothesline, and then a third power bomb, and got the win. Awesome match. Gunther's delivering big time as champion, and for all the people that said Miz is not a good worker, Miz is not a good babyface, this match proved those people wrong. Miz went out there, worked his ass off, and Gunther's been a great champion, a fantastic heel, and it worked. Crowd was into it. They were invested, even though Miz has barely won a match over the past year. Crowd still thought that there was a chance Miz could pick up the win. And who beats Gunther? Could it be Ludwig Kaiser? Could it be Braun Breaker or Carmelo Hayes? I mean, there are some possibilities. Like, you can definitely make somebody's career by having them beat Gunther, that's for sure. And then backstage, Imperium, Kaiser and Giovanni Vinci congratulated Gunther, and he said he's going to take off a few weeks to recharge. He said that Imperium needs to step it up, and he told them to get going and finally impress him. Then Kofi Claus showed up and gave Kaiser a lump of coal, which Kaiser was not amused with, and he stormed off. More on that later. We had Shinsuke Nakamura with his book reading The Nightmare Before Christmas, The American Nightmare Before Christmas, and then all of a sudden Cody Rhodes attacked him, and they brawled in the backstage area. They came out to the ring. Cody was going to put Shin through the announce table, but the security guards basically saved Shin, and he got away from the damage via Cody Rhodes. And this was more build up for day one in 2 weeks. That match will take place then. And then backstage, Chelsea Green and Piper Niven wanted their match canceled against Katana Chance and Kayden Carter for the tag team titles, and Adam Pearce said, no, too bad. Go out there and wrestle. So we had the tag team title match, Chelsea Green, Piper Niven defending against Katana Chance and Kayden Carter. Good match here. I mean, it was for the most part a basic tag team match, but there was some miscommunication. Piper Niven accidentally splashed Chelsea Green, and then the champs were able to regain the upper hand for a while. They double-teamed Carter, but then Chance made the save. Chance and Carter double-teamed Piper, but Chelsea broke up the pin. And then Chance and Carter were able to hit the after-party double-team finisher to Chelsea. 1, 2, 3. They got the win. Another tag team title change. There's been so many of them. And I would like to think that Chance and Carter are going to be the team to turn things around, but I have my serious doubts. Like, that's one area where they haven't been able to get it hot, and that's the women's tag team division. Will this do it? Time will tell. I mean, I feel like they're going to be transitional champions. Like, really, Damage Control should have it. Asuka and Kairi Sane should have those titles. So it may be that they're transitional champions and we get yet another tag team title switch. But yeah, I feel like Chance and Carter are not going to be the team to turn things around. I hope I'm wrong, though. And then backstage, all these tag teams congratulated them. And Natalya with Tegan Nox told Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark that the new champions are going to need some new challengers. So maybe Chance and Carter, before the Royal Rumble, they'll go through a couple teams and then lose the titles to Damage Control. I mean, that's what I would do at this point. If there's any chance for the women's tag division, you got to go with Asuka and Kairi Sane as far as I'm concerned. Then Ivy Nile asked Adam Pearce about an opportunity at Rhea Ripley. Rhea Ripley did accept the match in a backstage segment with Judgment Day. And then we had Akira Tozawa going up against Ivar in a singles match. And of course, nobody believes that Tozawa has a snowball's chance in hell of winning, but he did hold his own here against Ivar. Tozawa, he was able to avoid a big splash from Ivar, and he started hulking up like Hulk Hogan. He ripped off his shirt, and then Valhalla got on the apron. Maxine Dupree knocked her off the apron, and then Tozawa hit the senton. Ivar kicked out, and then Tozawa got caught with a kick. Ivar went up to the top, but Tozawa caught him. They were both up on top. Tozawa attempted a Hurricane Rana, which was a bit crazy. Did not work. Ivar gave him a power slam off the second rope instead and got the 1-2-3 victory. No surprise here, but hey, it was an entertaining match for what it was. Tozawa, he's there. He's got a job. He's on TV every week. So, not everybody's going to be a top guy, but hey, Tozawa's having a pretty solid run for an undercard guy. And Ivar continues to build momentum. Maybe he'll get a shot at Gunther. Bronson Reed did approach Adam Pearce, and he's interested in becoming Gunther's next challenger. So we're not at the point where we have the possible guy that's going to beat Gunther. Ain't going to be Bronson Reed. Ain't going to be Ivar. These are just going to be filler opponents at this time. And yes, Colin, I agree. Bring back Enzo. We had a recap of the CM Punk and Seth Rollins segment from last week. No Punk on this show, and he was not advertised for next week either. So I'm thinking we will not see him again until the January 8th edition of Raw. They're basically saving his appearances for the bigger shows. Seth Rollins came to the ring for a promo, and he talked about wanting to be the best world champion in the entire industry. And then Drew McIntyre showed up, and McIntyre said he's proud of Seth Rollins for telling the truth about CM Punk. And that makes Rollins a real leader. McIntyre then started talking about sacrifices, brought up his mother, and he was getting emotional. But Seth Rollins wasn't exactly buying it. He said that because of all the things McIntyre has done, he has his doubts about how sincere McIntyre is. McIntyre said he doesn't want Rollins' title. He needs Rollins' title and will do whatever it takes. Rollins said that McIntyre needs to take responsibility for his actions. Said he doesn't hate McIntyre. He has pity for McIntyre. McIntyre did not appreciate this. He tried to attack Rollins. Rollins fought back, but McIntyre did get the upper hand and then yelled out, "Do I look like a man that needs your goddamn pity?" And we actually got an uncensored goddamn on Monday Night Raw. Then McIntyre gave Rollins an Alabama slam on the steps. Got a lot of heat here, and this was in Des Moines, Iowa, which is Seth Rollins' home state. Not much going on in Des Moines, Iowa. I drove through it. Was not impressed, with all due respect to people from Iowa. Not my favorite state, but it's Seth Rollins' home. He's from Davenport, which is the eastern end of the state, right by Moline, Illinois, I believe. We had Kofi Claus backstage giving some gifts, and Imperium, or actually he was giving gifts at ringside, not backstage. Imperium attacked him. Jey Uso ran down to make the save, and that set up a match between Jey Uso and Ludwig Kaiser. Kaiser was working over Jey for a while. Jay made his comeback, went up top, but Vinci pushed off Jay while the referee was distracted. But then Kofi Kingston returned and gave the tip, the trouble in paradise, to Vinci. Jey Uso hit the spear, then the Uso splash, and got the win over Kaiser. Pretty basic match here. It was more about advancing the Imperium storyline. Once again, they failed to impress the Intercontinental Champion, the ring general Gunther, and we'll see what happens next with these guys. We did have our main event for the tag team titles, Judgment Day versus the Creed brothers. Very good match here. Creed's got in a lot of offense, and then Judgment Day took control for a while. Priest sent Julius into the steps, and then Brutus, after tossing Balor around a little bit, was attacked by Priest. Priest launched Brutus into the announce table, and then after the final commercial break, Julius got the hot tag, started to build up some momentum, but Priest was able to stop the Brutus ball attempt. Then Rhea Ripley tried to get involved. Ivy Nile attacked Rhea Ripley, and then Creed brothers hit the Brutus ball, but Priest was able to break up the pin, and then Julius came off the top to the outside onto Damian Priest. Then Balor went for coup de grace. Julius stopped him, and then Priest tagged back in. Brutus ball to Priest, but then Finn Balor came off the top with the coup de grace onto Julius. The crowd started chanting, "Holy shit." That got censored by the USA Network, and then Priest picked up the win with the South of Heaven chokeslam. Still tag team champions, Judgment Day, and Raw went off the air. Good match to end the show. No real cliffhanger or anything. Just a good tag team title main event. Creed brothers had a strong showing. I don't think it was a bad decision to have the champs retain here. Creed brothers are still on the way up. They're basically rookies. You know, they've only been in WWE for a couple of years. They just got on the main roster. As Michael Cole said, they'll be tag champs one day. I mean, it's inevitable. So yeah, overall, I thought this was a very solid episode of Raw. It did feel like filler at times, but you did have the tag team title change with Carter and Chance winning, and you did some good build-up for day one. Main event was good. So I would probably give the show a solid B. Like, it was an entertaining Raw for a Christmas-themed filler Raw. It was an enjoyable 3 hours, and it did move along pretty well, I think, for a 3-hour show. You know, the 3-hour shows can drag, but this one was entertaining despite no CM Punk. I thought it was a very solid show, worth checking out. So thank you all. This was the final Raw live stream of the year. I decided that I will stream on Friday despite SmackDown being a taped show. Figured I would because I think they're doing a best of SmackDown for the Friday before New Year's. And it was a pretty eventful SmackDown. But if you want to read spoilers, you can check out the results on NoDQ.com. And then this Thursday, I am going to be doing a special Q&A to wrap up the year. Send in your questions, nodqmisc@gmail.com. Send me your wrestling questions, anything about the year, any thoughts you have, you can include with your question. I will also take the super chats during the live stream. Those get priority. So tune in Thursday night at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. I'll be back for Dynamite. And like I said, I will recap SmackDown this week, despite it being a taped show. So tune in for all that. 3 more streams here coming up this week. Take care, everybody. Have a great week. Stay safe. Enjoy your holiday season, regardless of what you celebrate. Have a great one. And I'll see you all next time. And buy a shirt. NoDQ.com/merch. I'll see you all next time.